What's up, everybody? It's Patrick from wpbuilderhelper. In today's episode, we're going to have a special episode. It's going to be talking about what I think the future of page builder has in hold for it. And I'm going to go over some real-time data with you just to show you why I think that these trends are happening and what's really happening. And it's going to be controversial because it's going to be things that people want to talk about and they want to argue about and everything like that. So let's get started. Let's dive in. All right, so here we are, and this is a total, basically I'm talking about the future of page builders in general. And I have them up in a random order on here. I was going to go with most of the older page builders, but not the new ones on purpose, just because I wanted to talk about them. There's going to be some page builders I skip because I really don't even think that they're on this list for a reason, and I'm going to show you why I think that they're on this list. They shouldn't be on this list, but I'm going to start out with Brizy. All of these page builders have been in the game long enough to have a general consensus and opinion of them. So I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to talk about what's going on and why I think it's important. So we start off with Brizy. Brizy, to me, has been around for long enough that they should be a lot further along than they currently are. Anyone who knows me knows that I have an immense love for Brizy. I love the way that they do their page builder. But I gotta say, a lot of times Cloud is coming out ahead of the WordPress portion of it. I think that from what I see as a developer and everything, Cloud is going to just get bigger and bigger. And I think at some point, Brizy is going to really have to decide just how much they want to focus on WordPress and how much they want to focus on the Cloud version. Because the Cloud version is actually really, really good. It's really strange. I think down the road, they may end up focusing on one over the other. Now, I can't say because obviously I don't see their business transactions. So I don't know. Maybe they make way more money from the WordPress version than they do the Cloud version. But I'm telling you right now, I started a Cloud version and I didn't want to use their service because I bought the lifetime. I only get a complimentary service for 2 years. And then after that, you have to go find your own hosting. Well, the Brizy Cloud, I tagged it to one of the 3 people that they had on that list, and it gets great scores. I mean, sometimes we forget that static websites are really, really good. So for Brizy, I'm saying right off the bat, I think Cloud's going to get bigger. I think it's going to get immense in the future. I don't know so much about the WordPress, and I'm going to show you why a little bit later, but I don't know. This should be a lot further along to me than it is. Elementor, so as you can see, I've got their pricing up. Elementor is one of the most expensive page builders on the market. And while they do have a lot of themes and a lot of support and just a lot of options, their pricing is just insane. Their pricing is just, for me, it's really insane. Now, it would be cool if you could buy higher website kits. Like maybe I don't want an Elementor expert profile. Maybe I don't need that. And if I don't need that, then why am I getting charged for it? So it's just one of those things for me. I know that a lot of people, when Elementor started this whole game of including their pricing and everything, it rubbed people the wrong way. I don't have an issue with their pricing. Developers should get paid what they should get paid, and I'm fine with it. They're the king of the hill right now. The problem I have with it is that their VC, which is the funding that they got, if you actually look into that and you actually understand it and how it works, a lot of times it doesn't work well for most companies. When you start reporting to a bunch of board shareholders or something like that, your product ends up going a different way than what you initially expected it to go. And that's where I see Elementor kind of falling down flat on their face. I mean, right now they're doing great. They're at the top. Like I said, they're at the top of the hill, but they're the ones to beat. And I think that there are going to be some big things coming up in the future that could possibly beat them. So next we move on to Oxygen. Oxygen is well established. It has a ton of people that are behind it. I think that its UI has been holding it back a lot. I think its loading time has been holding it back a lot. They're two minor things overall compared to the love for this builder. Oxygen is like hands down one of the other builders that's out there that's really, really big. And like I said, when we talk about it later, you'll see why I think it's going to continue to grow and it's going to continue to get bigger. Especially if they come out with a new revision that changes the UI and just fixes everything. If they start fixing the back end, the loading time and all that, Oxygen is going to start dominating. And they kind of are, but still not as high as they should be. So then you've got Beaver Builder. I mean, this is another one that I don't know. I mean, their pricing is really, really weird. They've got, I mean, it's standard pricing, but they've got this agency thing and it's per year and it's $3.99. So you're paying $400 per year. In the realm of Cadence and Gutenberg plugins and stuff like that, I don't see this winning. I honestly think that the Gutenberg plugins are going to beat this out. I just do. And you know, that's another thing for these four that I've already talked about. And I should have put Divi on this list. They're not on this list, but Gutenberg's a real competitor for these builders. Really a big competitor. And the more that they price themselves out of the market with this, and the more that Gutenberg comes out with these great add-ons and stuff like that, the harder it's going to be to beat them. WP Bakery, a lot of people have talked about it. I, for the life of me, have not used it. I know it's one of the faster builders that are out there, but for the price, once again, it's not bad. This is good. The extended price, it's not bad. I just don't know anybody who uses it. I haven't seen any websites come through. Nobody's talking about this. For the most part, everybody's talking about Elementor. And let me go back and let me put this on the list because people are going to flame me for not having it, and it should be on this list. This is the other big builder, and that is Divi. More so than WP Bakery. Nobody remembers WP Bakery. And in another couple of years, they're not going to exist anymore. That's just my take on them. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. Divi is still around, and Divi is still kicking ass. Their latest update, regardless of whether you think this builder is bloated or not, solved a lot of those problems with the bloat. It's not 100% tuned, so don't jump my crap for it. I just put out a recent video. I'll tag it up above or down below or whatever so that you can see it. But it's my thought process. It's a step forward in the right direction. From my opinion, this latest update from Divi is the first real update I've seen in a long time from Divi. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Divi has come out with a lot of great features, but the updates just aren't hitting developers where they think they need to be. And this update was a really good push in the right direction. So I'm hoping they continue and they just continue plowing forward and this starts to grow. And if that happens, Divi has a chance to take over Elementor's space. I don't care if you believe it or not. I'll show you proof at the end. So then we've got a bunch of other builders, and I should have moved this over just so you could see it. You've got things like Bricks. Look, Bricks hasn't been around long enough. I think there's a lot of potential with Bricks. I like Bricks. There's also, Zion, which is another builder. It's another great builder that's out there. Once again, ton of potential with Zion, ton of potential with Bricks. I like both of them. They both feel like Oxygen in terms of what they do. Zion's a little bit more, I would say, like Elementor than Oxygen, and Bricks is more like Oxygen than Elementor. But regardless, these builders, the Zion, the Bricks, the Oxygen, even Beaver Builder, which I give them props for being a fast builder, are steps in the right direction. But as we've seen, being the fastest doesn't necessarily make you the best. Elementor is one of the slowest builders that's out there, and it's still winning. Divi has been slow for a long time, and it's still winning. That's because they came first, and they built a market. Divi was one of the first page builders that was on the market, and it's still killing to today. And that's not only just because of what they're doing, but it's also because of their pricing. Divi's pricing has never changed. I think the pricing for this, if I'm not mistaken, let me see if I can find it. It's right here. It's under me. So the pricing for this is still $249 one time. That pricing has kept them at the top. I don't care what anyone says about paying a developer or whatever, or the lifetime deal. Let me throw some shade out there right now to all these developers, because I posed this to Thomas from Bricks. If you can take and you can put a license out there for Bricks, they currently have 1,000 license. Okay. If you can put out a license out there for Bricks and you can make it 1,000, you can make it 2,000. Because there's no cost involved with it. What is the cost of you giving away 2,000? It's nothing. There's no cost. And in the person's eyes who buys it, there is cost because they see it as cost. They see it as, oh, wow, they just gave me 2,000 when everybody else is giving me 1,000 licenses. Look at Elementor. Elementor only gives you 1,000 licenses. They're making these upper limits that don't exist. Divi has been in the market. They've been in the game, and they've been charging $249 one time. That's why Divi's still around. That's why Divi's killing it, because their pricing's never changed. They know that they're still making money, because guess what? People are still buying it, and they've got unlimited licenses. You can't say anything to that. So please don't argue over the license and say a developer should be paid. Divi is still around as a business. If that held true, they would have died 5 years ago, and they didn't, and they've still continued. And the fact is, Divi could raise its price today, probably to $500, and most people wouldn't bat an eye. They'd still think about it, but I don't think they'd be as competitive. I think staying in the $250 range keeps them competitive. I think they could maybe boost it up to about $299 and still get away with it, because they're still rocking unlimited licenses, and that's so rare, you know? And so for me, they're going to continue to be a trend. I think Oxygen's going to continue to be a trend, as long as they don't start screwing with the licenses too much. Zion Builder's doing unlimited. It's going to continue to be a trend. This 1,000 thing with Bricks, I don't think it's going to hurt them, but it's you know, it is what it is. Okay, so now let's look at the data. Let's look at the data. Okay, so here's the data for it, okay? And I'm going to get out the way. I'm going to try and push this up further. So this is the data of 5 builders. It only gives me 5, okay? So I had to be subjective to what I choose, but these are 5 of the older builders, okay? So we've got Elementor, Divi, Oxygen Builder, WP Bakery, and Beaver Builder. What are you noticing on this graph? What do you see that's in this graph? Do you see that Divi and Elementor are basically almost tie and tie? As a matter of fact, Divi is often higher than Elementor. How is that happening? It's happening because Divi isn't fucking with their pricing like every other person out there and then saying that they don't get paid like a developer. This is a big deal. Divi is doing what they need to do to survive, and it's working. Because if you're looking at Oxygen Builder and you're looking at WP Bakery and you're looking at Beaver Builder, they're not even on the charts. They're a blip on the radar. They don't even come in. There's some movement here for Beaver Builder, so I don't want to call it that there's nothing. And yeah, WP Bakery's got a little here and there, but look at Oxygen. Oxygen's all the way down at the bottom. Compared to Divi and compared to Elementor, I'm sorry. They're just 2 of the big names, and they're out there and they're killing it. They're out there a lot. They've made a name for themselves, and they're winning as far as I'm concerned. You could say that Google Trends is wrong, but these are what people are searching. They're searching this in Google, and this is the graph that they're getting. This is what they're pulling from the data. I mean, you're looking at the average, and this just doesn't compare. So then we need to go to this next graph, okay? This next graph is just the other builders that are out there. Now, one of the things that upsets me the most, and one of the reasons why I say that Brizy is going to fall out of the WP game at some point, is because look at where they are on this chart. They're like almost nil. Like no one's searching it compared to these other builders. Now, funny enough, Beaver Builder once again comes in, and you can see WP Bakery is actually coming in. But then look at Oxygen Builder. It's there, but it's a niche product. People who are building with Oxygen Builder don't get over. I mean, this is going to piss you off, I know, because you're going to say, wait, what are you talking about? You're saying that Oxygen Builder isn't as good as these? No, I'm not. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is no one knows about it. The interest isn't there. And the interest is there for Elementor and Divi. People know about it. They're out there searching for it. So until it takes on its own life of its own and actually gets out there and starts getting searched, I mean, it is what it is. It's right here in these. I mean, you could basically take Brizy out of there. I tried Bricks. Bricks is too new, so I don't want to put that. Oh, I'm sorry. Bricks is actually right there. I tried Zion. I don't think Zion is in there either. It doesn't show up very much. I mean, it's in there. You can see there's some points where it's peaking, but it's relatively new. This is relatively new, so that's not really fair. These are the older builders to me. These are pretty old. And somebody's also going to say, okay, well, what about, I think they have Thrive Builder or something like that. What about Thrive Builder? Well, how's Thrive Builder doing? You can see it's doing pretty good. I mean, it's about the same as I would say Bricks or whatever, and it's been out longer. So I'm really shocked that it's not doing as well either in terms of this. But basically, I mean, Beaver Builder's killing it when it comes to the lower competition. And these are all niche builders. You know, it doesn't matter what you pick as your builder. But if there's a future behind it, one of some of these builders are going to fall off. They're not going to be able to do this forever. If they don't start getting higher market share and they don't start getting that, and Elementor and Divi are constantly taking away their market share because people are going to them because they're putting out new features because they have the staff to do it, it gets harder and harder to compete with the bigger guys. So now we can see Cadence is still killing it though. Look at Cadence compared to Beaver Builder. And Cadence has been out a shorter amount of time. I mean, come on, guys. You can't think that all of these builders are going to exist forever. They're not. Just like, you know, when the Gutenberg builders start becoming more and more popular, how long is it going to take for the equivalent of a Divi or Elementor-like experience to come to Gutenberg? And once that's at Gutenberg, and once the UI is like slick, like Brizy or something, where it doesn't even feel like you're in WordPress, you're just building something that's just awesome on the screen and it changes around everything and just revolutionizes everything. Once someone comes out with that, that's in-game for some of these builders. They're just not. I mean, unless the pricing scheme for some of these are just real high, because I know Stackable's got a pretty high price for theirs, you know, for the lifetime. But still, once again, $4.99 for unlimited sites, I can't complain. I think that's fair. $400 or $500 for a license that's unlimited sites, you're going to make that in an investment. And I think that's where Elementor is getting it wrong. I don't have a problem with Elementor's licensing. That's not it. That's not what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with this. My problem is you're throwing in VP support and Elementor expert profile and all of this and all of this and all of this. They're at the point now where they've thrown in so much crap that I don't even need. I don't want it. I should be able to pick and choose to lower this price down and still get my websites down. I should be able to do a la carte and go in here and say I want 1,000 websites and I need them to have this. The responsive design. Why are you even putting that in your ad? That's so stupid. Like everything's responsive these days. I mean, it's just bullshit marketing speak. And I'm sorry, but it's true. It's just bullshit marketing speak. The theme builder, that's fine. But if you don't have responsive design, I mean, that's so freaking stupid. Why are you even putting that in there? But it's just market speak. But, you know, to me, that's what I see happening. Gutenberg is going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And I think when you start looking at these builders, they're going to start falling off. And I think especially your WP Bakery, as we saw, Beaver Builder's doing really good when you actually look at it in here. But when you compare it to Cadence, it's not. And then when you compare Oxygen to it, Oxygen's kind of limping along. It's in there, but it's not as good as WP Bakery, which is unknown to some people. And some people are, you know, still using it just because it's an old builder. I mean, all of that makes a difference. That all makes a difference. It all plays a part. I'm not saying that none of these can come back from where they are now. You could have Oxygen shoot through the roof. If the new version comes out with a new UI and fixes some of the current problems, it's going to shoot through the roof. It may become the next Divi. It may fall into this in Elementor. It may. It could get there. It's not there yet, but it could get there. But, that's what I'm saying, and that's the future. So if you're asking me today, what's the future? Look at the trends. The data tells you the future. You can see it. And I'm not saying that any of these builders are a failure by any means. These are all great builders. They all have the potential. Brizy has the potential. Even if you don't like it, I don't even care. It has the potential, but it's what they do with it. And it's what these builders that are on the top do with their potential that make them skyrocket. That's what I'm saying. If Divi starts coming out and they start recustomizing their code and they start just really, really hammering hard that they're more optimized, Divi's going to start shooting through the roof again, because people are going to go back to the license and say, I need to go back to Divi. I need to go back to Divi. I think it's finally turned the corner. And that's what people forget about. Market share is so big. There's only so much of market share, and people kind of switch and they kind of go. And that's kind of what happened with bricks. They don't understand that with Zion and bricks, a lot of people from Oxygen came over from Zion and bricks. Now, why did they do that? They did it because they weren't finding something in Oxygen that they liked. It was just too hard for them. And Zion and bricks are a lot easier. And so they picked those two builders because they said, hey, we like this builder. It's a lot easier to use. The Oxygen's just not for me. It's a little bit too hard. It's too complicated. I don't understand it. And somehow they found these two builders and they started buying into it. You got to understand the market and watch the flows and watch what things do. I still say to this day that Elementor taking that VC funding, that's going to hurt them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say something, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, so I'm not going to make the assumption, but I haven't seen the main guy from Elementor. He used to be everywhere, and now you don't see him. He doesn't even come out. He doesn't even exist. Nick Roche is still talking on Divi. He's still making videos. Thomas from Bricks comes out. The guys from Zion come out and talk. Brizy guy is still there. Dimitri, he's still around. He's still doing his thing. I don't see Elementor's key staff anymore. I don't even know if they exist. I guess they do. I guess they're there. I haven't seen them. They used to come out with videos and all this other stuff. I haven't seen anything from Elementor. I don't know. So maybe it's just because I've fallen off with Elementor a bit because of this pricing and the whole VC thing. But to me, I don't feel like they're being competitive enough. That's just my take. That's what I feel. I'm sorry. I know this is a long video. Put your feelings down below. Let me know. Am I right? Am I wrong? What did I get wrong? This is all my opinion. So take it as that. None of this is anything that I know. It's me looking at the market as a whole and judging where I think they're going to go. That's just my feelings. Anyway, guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time.